we are going to get into some great career moves for you. I know you guys have been feeling the energy because if you're watching this in real time in 2025, it's a universal year 9. You guys are feeling, if you've been feeling this energy, please comment below and let me know that it's time for working your purpose. And what is that purpose and how can you show up and help? Because society is at an intense duality right now with the light and the dark. And the dark is fighting to stay in the power. Because, yes, this universe is all about light, dark energy. But let's be honest, the dark has been capsaicing the light. It has been a lot of just fear and shame and guilt kind of energy. And you, as a life path number 9, my friend, are supposed to come and sweeten that energy on up and bring people into that light. Okay. You're light workers. You are humanitarians. Now, not every life path 9 is going to walk that path, but if you're watching this video, you're into and even had the time to look up your life path number and know and want to seek your purpose, your soul has a bigger mission. You guys are not average people. You're not here to play it small. You're here to play it big. Remember, you have the energy of all the other life path numbers following you. Okay, you're 9, you're the alchemist. You are the end of the cycle. Some of you are on your final carnations, and you'll know this because you'll know it in your heart. If you're like, I ain't supposed to come back here, I know that. So if you're not supposed to come back here, that means you're supposed to do it in a huge, big way. So let's talk about some of the career paths for you guys. The way I'm going to break it down is by your Chaldean chart numbers. So meaning, what is the final 2 numbers right before you get to 9? That is the numbers that we're going to concentrate on, because when you look at the double digit number, it's going to give you more of a holistic view of what it is you're supposed to kind of do in this life and how to best maneuver it. I'm a life path number 1, and I did that with mine. My numbers right before you get to 1 is 28. So with the 2 and the 8, it let me know that in my business, and I am supposed to do it with a partner, like team up with people, not individual, but there's some form of partnerships. And even on my life path 1 leader, I'm still supposed to partner up because with that 2 energy, you get what I'm saying? It's always about harmonious union, but still lead it. So let's get into your 9 to see what these numbers are like. Remember, my friends, remember, I'm going to cut this part out. Remember, your main job here is to practice generosity, selfishness, and not selfishness, selflessness. I'm saying it all wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say. You got to learn to forgive and let go. Your art of letting go. Try not to continue to hold stack in your head and like count things off that people do and then drop them out of nowhere, or just drop the situation, because you guys can like cut stuff off when you have had enough, because you give, and then you're like, no more, I can't do this no more. And some of you is happening within your jobs. Like you have been, oh, I can't do this anymore. I can't wait to get out. And if you guys have been feeling that energy this year a lot, it's because of the 9 energy. It's really following you, because it's really time for you to step into your path. Be compassionate with yourself. Start having some boundaries with yourself. And most importantly, have some boundaries with others, because while you're giving and being in service, it doesn't mean that you're a doormat. It doesn't mean that you give your last dime. Doesn't mean you give out your rent money before you pay your rent. It doesn't work that way. You have to learn to use discernment, okay? Discernment. But being said that, you guys are supposed to go out there and lead your tribe somehow, help in some area. So I'm going to help you guys out with that. We're going to go over the double digit numbers and see what best suits you at this time in your life, okay? And what's going to be the best careers for you guys according to that double digit number right before you hit the 9, okay? So let's start it off with the 18/9. This is going to be the visionary healers. You excel in humanitarian roles that focus on transformation and healing. Transformation and healing, my 18/9. The best careers for you guys are going to be nonprofit leaders, counselors, therapists, social worker, spiritual teacher, or environmental advocate. You're going to work very well in roles that involve healing, global change, and addressing issues of social justice. So these are going to be my social justice warriors. You have the 1 and the 8, so you guys are leaders. You're leaders, and your entrepreneur is a big business kind of move. So you guys can start big organizations that help out society, help out the world, global, not just society, but like a global kind of energy. Maybe there's something that's been brewing in your mind. This is going to be your wake up call, your confirmation to do that. Okay. Now, remember that the eight is also very karmic. So within the eight, you do not want to start organizations where you are ripping off people. Like some of these politicians, bro, you guys can't do that. You want to walk the golden path. Make sure everything is ethically aligned. Whenever there's an eight and a number, you want to make sure that it's ethically aligned and do stuff on the right karmic side of things. The next one we're going to look into is the 27 over 9. So if you have a 27 over 9, it's going to be best suited for leadership roles in global movements and healthcare, because the 2 energy within it is going to be peacemaker, and the 7 is very spiritual based and analytical as well. So the more research and the more things that bring in harmony, like heart centers is what I feel when I look into this this number, this set is very heart centered. You want to make sure that things are in alignment and balance because of the 2 energy. And then 7, make sure whatever you're doing, you can research. And the more research and truth within what you guys' calls or what you're doing, the more in alignment it would be. Because the 27 number is like, you can pretty much do anything as long as it's in a balance and it's helping people, and especially in a healthcare. So if you guys are doing healthcare, this is going to be a big field for you guys as well. But charitable organizations, you can be an executive director of that. Make sure you're partnering with the right people, because the 2 energy is going to bring a nice balance to that. Now let's go on to my 36, or I could call you guys a 369, because 369, hello. The ultimate manifestors over here, okay? This is my number of the old souls. Old souls. I don't know what other numerologists say, but when I see a number like 36 over 9, 369, you're going to be one of my older souls right there. You guys are like probably the ones on last incarnations, which means you got a lot of knowledge and wisdom about what's going on in this universe and this earth, but you're very artistic. That's where you're going to thrive. You're going to thrive in artistic and emotional and creative fields. So make sure that's going to be your North Star and your guiding light, because when you have that 3 energy with the 6, you can do something very creative for your community and start your own community and start your own organization in that way. So this is a very creative soul with the ability to bring emotional healing through art, writing, or other forms of self-expression. Now, best career is going to be artist, writer, filmmaker, musician, humanitarian, obviously, or public speaking. Have you been feeling like you should be on stage at a TED Talk or something else, whatever Life Path 9 talk you guys want to do? This is your wake-up call for that. You're going to be working well in creative, artistic, and emotional fulfilling careers that have a deep connection to others. Now, if in your current job, none of this is fitting, you know what you're supposed to do. Go out there and create. You have the ability to do that. Take a look at your life, your expression number as well, and balance that energy together. Business moves, like for my entrepreneurs that are 36-9, I like to say 369. You want to start a creative business such as a art studio or design firm that encourages personal expressions. Maybe build a platform for sharing your creative work or offering creative workshops. Use your creative abilities to impact social causes and humanitarian projects. Because remember, all these numbers are all going to somehow lead back to humanitarian work, which you can do in some way. But when you break down this double digit, it's going to really tell you what kind of humanitarian work you can do. Now, let's let's do the 45, the 4 over 5. This shines in motivational and social change causes, but you guys, because of the 5, you have the change, but you got that 4, so you have structure in you. You guys can build something and have it be very solid. But if you've been feeling, and you're 45 over 9, you've been feeling like, oh, I think I should travel and I can like maybe go to Africa and help African people, or go to, I don't know why Ukraine just came in my head too, but for some of you guys maybe, and like travel and help humanity literally, but movement, not just on the online. You guys can physically move. So if you want to physically do stuff and move and Maybe a lot of traveling nurses too. Like that's a big deal too with this number. So if you guys are traveling nurses, that's also a great career. But anything to do with that movement. And because it's the 4 or 5 and it's like 4 or 5, it goes in a nice sequence order. Make sure the things that you do are in flow. Flow. It's going to flow up nicely when you focus that energy because of the 45. Not to, which is a little different than the 54 because of how the sequence comes in. Now, what are great careers for my 45/9? You want to do something with motivational speaking, maybe author. Also, you guys are good teachers, spiritual leaders, or international aid workers, diplomats, basically. You can work well in roles that require inspirational leadership and a focus on global well being. You can launch a speaking career or writing career that focuses on global issues or personal empowerment. Create a coaching program that focuses on leadership, development, or social change. Start a global initiative or a charity to address issues of inequality or injustices. Anything that you feel drawn to in that way is going to really lead you into it. Now let's get into the 54/9, which is the flip of the 45. This is known as the empathic mediator. You're deeply empathic and you're a nurturing individual with a unique ability to bridge gaps and bring people together. You work well in environments that require problem solving and the balancing of multiple interests. And because of that 5, again, you want to start with change and build a foundation. Start with change and build a foundation. Whereas the 45, you can build a foundation, then which is going to lead to change. You want to, with you guys, you want to start with change and build a foundation. For example, you look out in the world and see that, I don't really like the way this is ran in society. Maybe you don't like the way the school system is ran. You see it needs to be changed. Now build it. Find what needs to be changed, basically. That's going to help society. Now, the best careers is going to be a mediator, counselor, negotiator, social worker. A lot of you guys are, a lot of these numbers have social work because overall you are a 9, you are the humanitarians. And when you think of social work, it's humanitarian. Now, you're going to work well in roles that resolving conflicts and helping others communicate efficiently, because you've come to bring change and you've come to change the way people communicate, and you can be very solid in that foundation. And because you guys have the 4 afterwards, remember, whatever you feel that you're supposed to change in society, you have the ability to structure that as you please and how you want to see it. Now, the 63, the 63/9, this is a nurturing guide. So you work well in healing and spiritual guidance professionals. Now, because the 6 leads and not the 3, the 6 is like you're very in service. The service is going to be a big deal for you guys. You want to be in service first and then create afterwards. Whatever you feel called to within that, you're going to exceed in that area, because this is a more gentle, nurturing energy. So a nurturing, gentle soul with the ability to guide others on their spiritual journey is what you guys have. You have a strong intuition because you're leading with the 6. It's a very feminine kind of energy. You're great spiritual counselors, energy healers, therapists, life coach, or holistic practitioners. You work well in environments that require emotional and spiritual support, such as healing centers or spiritual communities. Most of these jobs and careers that I'm suggesting for you guys are going to be spiritual based, humanitarian base. If you're saying I'm looking to be a doctor, yeah, you can absolutely be a doctor, because you are supposed to help society, help in a bigger way. But however, depending on what your number is, it will tell you best how to be, because not everybody needs to be just in a hospital and serving in that way. Maybe you're supposed to be in Guatemala, maybe you're supposed to be in Haiti and travel to help and be a doctor in that way. And then your numbers, when you look at the numbers, that's how it's going to break down to help you guys to really understand how to best serve. Now, the next one we're going to look into is the 72/9. This is known as the global humanitarian. Okay, because of how the 7 comes over the 2, unlike the 27 where the 2 comes first, Truth is going to lead you guys. Research what is effed up in society. Look at what's going on with society. Look at the truth in it and stuff. You can't let lies guide you in this number. You must let truth guide you. Spiritual truth, research truth, analytical data truth. And within that, now you're going to bring in some kind of peace to society in that way. So this is some of the good careers for you guys. Is an international aid worker, global health consultant, human rights advocate, or an environmentalist activist. You're going to work well in roles that involve large scale projects or campaigns aimed at global change. Global change. Like I said, this is a year for change in society and what is no longer working and bring it into what is working, okay? Because this is not the time to play it small like path number 9, no matter how your double digit break it down. It's not the year to play it small. It's not the time in your life to play it small. This is a time in your life to go big or go home. Okay. Now, with Type 9, take a look at your personal values. Look at some of the stuff we just went over. Look at your personal values and see what career best aligns with that. You want to lead with your personal values first. Because you are a life path 9, the 9, if you look at the number 9, has a big head. You cannot let materialistic things lead you. You cannot say, I'm going to get this job because I want a new Ferrari or I want a new mansion in Calabasas or something. You want to let that not lead you, basically. You cannot let materialism lead you. You have to let service lead you. You have to let the desire to change global scale things lead you. You want to lead with authority. You want to lead like, this is how I've come to show up and help people get to where they need to be. Now, remember, what's going to fulfill you the most is your impact to society. So whatever you do, make sure it's impacting society. That's how you're going to feel fulfilled. You cannot do things just for a paycheck. It's not going to fulfill you as a 9. It's not in your soul's calling. So as long as you feel fulfilled impact-wise, then you're going to thrive, all right? And that's all I have for you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Save this video if you need to come back to it, and yeah.